Alright, bitches, we're on to the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. We're on episode 68 now, and this episode is called Come Forth, Shenron, Whose Wish Will Be Granted. Now, it is nice to move away from the Future Trunks arc now. I mean, episode 67 was very disappointing. Episode 66 was likewise also very disappointing. The show is just very... not enough attention being paid to small details, in my opinion. So, moving on to, a lot of people are calling this filler, but I feel like filler is not really the proper description for, like, these episodes of Dragon Ball Super. Filler more so would apply to something like the Garlic Jr. saga in Dragon Ball Z, where that's something, Dragon Ball Z is being adapted from the manga to an anime format, and the Garlic Jr. saga is something that they're tossing in there to give the manga time to, get some distance on the anime. And the quality wasn't really as good, whereas I would say in Dragon Ball Super, more like a slice of life episode is a more, proper description here. And I would also say the pacing and the quality of these, in between episodes, slice of life episodes, if you really want to call it filler episodes, go ahead. But the quality on these, I mean, it honestly almost kind of seems higher than some of the, parts of the main sagas, especially think of like the Resurrection F arc or whatever. But anyway, I actually really like this episode. This one was pretty solid. Now, there's not really that much to talk about, though. There's not, like, jam-packed with, time travel shenanigans and all kinds of crazy shit, though. So I can sort of breeze through this. Basically, the premise of this episode is that, every character wants some sort of wish that they want granted. We see Bulma is working on a new time machine, and she has replicated almost an exact copy of, the time machine that we've seen before. Remember, Trunks and Mai left in, I guess what is essentially Cell's time machine, so Bulma doesn't have one. So this new one she's creating from scratch, and she's missing a very important material that she needs to work the machine, which is some sort of rock from the Earth's core. Now, around this time, Goku decides that it's time for him to, fulfill his promise to Kyle-sama and revive him. You see Android 18 wants to do something for Krillin, which is very sweet. You do like seeing this, essentially villain from earlier, and she does have a real loving relationship with Krillin, which is cool. You see Master Roshi is looking for some young peachy girls. You always gotta love that. So Goku gets the Dragon Radar and goes off to find the 7 Dragon Balls. In the meantime, Beerus and Whis show up to get delicious food from Bulma. So Bulma takes Beerus and Whis to a restaurant, actually like a crab restaurant. Now, I love crab, but I always have trouble getting the damn meat out of the crab legs and everything. But, I mean, it looks so easy for Beerus and Whis to just pull this meat out, and I'm jealous, come on, it's not this easy for me. But there is, a funny scene where Beerus is having trouble getting the meat out of the crab. I did like this. This is fun. This is fine after the overly dramatic Future Trunks arc we just got done with. So Goku finds the Dragon Balls in a flash. He summons Shenron, and we see, it's basically the rest of the episode is almost one long scene, as you see the Pilaf gang come in, Oolong, Master Roshi, Android 18, Trunks and Goten, Bulma eventually shows up, Gohan comes in with Pan, and everyone needs different wishes granted. The dragon is able to grant 2 wishes, because I guess we're counting the last wish that the dragon used, which was in the Champa or Universe 6 arc, where they were asking where the Super Dragon Balls are. I guess that does count as a wish. So Shenron is able to grant 2 wishes right now. Everyone decides to give Gohan the first wish to heal Pan. Gohan states that he thinks because of Pan's possible Saiyan blood, that the medicine they got from the hospital isn't curing her fever, which, I mean, whatever, it makes sense. I doubt Pan would have died from the fever anyway, but everyone just moves to the side and allows Gohan to make that wish. 18, of course, she wants to find out what exactly Krillin would want. She wants to do something for Krillin. Oolong, apparently, it's not really stated, but I guess he wants more panties. Master Roshi wants, some peachy peachy girls. I love the way he says it. And they do show us a quick flashback to the very beginning of Dragon Ball. What was it, episode 13? Where Oolong steals the wish from Pilaf and the gang and wishes for panties. Now, eventually, Bulma shows up, and it is very funny because she quickly fixes what everyone wants. Like, she tells 18, like, listen, all Krillin really wants, he'll say that as long as he has you and Marin, he's really happy. And, like, you see 18 blush, and she's like, oh, yeah, you're right, I'll go be with him. And then she asks Roshi, what do you want? And he's like, peachy peachy gals. And it's like, Bulma whips out her phone, and she's like, all right, bring some gals over here for 10 million zenny. And a hover car just rolls up with like 10 fine-ass girls. It's like, damn, Bulma. Bulma's got it like that, huh? Shit. Then when Bulma hears what Oolong wants, she gives 18 money and has 18 just knock Oolong away. It's like, damn, my boy Oolong constantly getting hit. And then Trunks and Goten reveal that they don't really have a wish that they want granted. They just wanted a wish granted. So Bulma tells them to think of what they want granted. Now, I do gotta say, now everyone is always going to constantly diss Dragon Ball Super for its animation and stuff. Like, it doesn't matter how good the animation gets, people are always going to insult it because people are petty like that. But I have to say, like, the animation is like solid. Like, it doesn't need... The other thing that's important is it doesn't really need to be that good until, like, they start fighting. Like Goku versus Goku Black, that's when we want the animation to be on point. I could care less how bad or how good the animation is during these moments. It's just during the key moments we need it to be good. But I do like a lot of the kind of the artistic, like the camera shots in this episode are pretty good. Like, we do see a nice scene where the characters are reflected in Master Roshi's glasses as they talk to each other. Like, just these subtle details like this is something that Dragon Ball Super, for the most part, doesn't do, and really what's missing from it. So, as the show gets more popular, which it's continuing to do, and as the budget gets higher, more money rolls in, hopefully the show can improve and improve, because I hate to break it to you guys, but I mean, I can't see any end for this show in sight with how big it's exploding. That's just a fact at this point. So Bulma kind of, fixes everyone's wishes up, gets them all set, and they all go, except for Goku, who of course wants to revive Kyle-sama, Gregory, and Bubbles on, his planet. So what happens is Bulma says, okay, that's fine, you can have the wish, but you have to go to the Earth's core and get this material for me. And I guess she gives Goku, like, some sort of suit, probably a similar spacesuit to what Dr. Briefs gave Goku when he was traveling to Namek, some sort of similar thing like that. So Goku goes down and gets some material, and when he returns, he's with Beerus and Whis, and Beerus and Whis figure out exactly what Bulma's doing, which is interesting that they're able to tell that she needs this material for the time machine just by the fact that she needs this material. Beerus destroys it, and Bulma starts apologizing and says that she won't work on the time machine anymore. And Beerus is like, okay, good. And he snaps his fingers and he goes, you won't need this anymore then. And you see an explosion in the Capsule Corp building, and her time machine does blow up. Now, this is interesting. I mean, I gotta assume now, between the retcons to Vegito and the Potara fusion, and just basically the way, Hit was kind of like, Hit's attitude in the face of being attacked by Champa, I mean, I gotta imagine that, like, these guys aren't really that close to Beerus. I mean, I feel like they've had a lot of throwaway lines where we said, if Goku and Vegeta work together, they could beat Beerus. A lot of people harken back to what Akira Toriyama said about Beerus, with his, Super Saiyan guy Goku's a 6, Beerus is a 10, Whis is a 15. There's been a lot of lines like that hinting that Goku and the others are catching up. But I feel like they're going back on that. I don't know if a lot of those lines of dialogue earlier on matter anymore, because it seems to me as though the gap of Beerus to everyone else is still as large as ever. Now, I do want to say, the technique Beerus used to kill President Zamasu, his Hakai, where Zamasu just disintegrated, that's not just like an instant win technique where he could just obliterate anyone he wants. I don't think that would work on like Vegito, or Merge Zamasu or a character like that. But remember, that Zamasu wasn't really that strong, so Beerus was able to just instantly annihilate him. I don't think that's an instant win technique. But just seeing Beerus snap his fingers and destroy the time machine in Bulma's in Capsule Corporation is very impressive. No doubt about that. So after that happens, everyone's wishes have been satisfied or fulfilled or whatever, so Goku's free to revive Kaiosama, and Shenron leaves because I guess his time is up, because this isn't really something that's ever been stated before as far as I'm aware. Shenron has always just been bossy about wanting to get his wishes granted quick, but evidently he does appear to have a time limit that he's under, and before Goku's able to make the wish, the time runs out and Shenron, disperses into the Dragon Balls. So poor Kaio-sama still not brought back to life, and then that's how the episode ends. A good episode, I will say. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people hating on it, but that's just, people just hate to hate. This episode was solid. Honestly, I thought this episode was a lot better than episode 67, and certainly a lot better than episode 66. I mean, 66 had some great action moments in it, but there's so much bullshit weighing it down, whereas this episode is relatively clean as far as the amounts of bullshit that Dragon Ball Super heaps on us every week. I gotta really give this episode some positive marks. And then in the preview for the next episode, we see Arale. Looks like there's going to be a lot of fun time. We see Vegeta in a suit. There's also a quick shot of Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue form. And the episode is titled Goku vs. Arale. So I think it's going to be a real fun episode, harkening back to early Dragon Ball, and the whole Dr. Slump series. I'm looking forward to that. There's no reason to rush through these, slice of life episodes. I'd rather that Toriyama and Toei really get their shit together and build like a masterpiece arc. If they would give us, 4 months of these slice of life episodes, and then that led into just a true masterpiece arc, like the King Piccolo arc or something like that, I would be fucking thrilled. But hey, next week, Arale, hey, I'm looking forward to it. Today was good. This week's episode was very solid.